Good morning and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to make for you Paczkis. Paczkis are Polish donuts, very popular. Every stall has Paczkis. And when it comes to Fat Tuesday or Fat Thursday, depending which country you live in, one store can sell 5,000 Paczkis a day. Important part here is to keep your ingredients room temperature. So the eggs need to be taken out of the fridge a couple hours before. Your butter, if you do forget to take the butter out, you can melt it. Just remember to wait a little bit until it's not hot before you put all the ingredients together. There is few details that make the making of Paczkis a little bit easier. I want to make sure I remember to tell you all about it. And what you need is big pot for the oil. Today is Paczkis day. Welcome to my kitchen and thank you for watching. For my Paczkis, Polish donuts, I need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 of a cup of sugar, 10 ounces of warm milk, and I have put 2 teaspoons of sugar into that milk, and I will dissolve dry yeast, 2 packets of 7 grams, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4.5 tablespoons of softened butter, 5 egg yolks, and 2 tablespoons of alcohol. I have regular rum and then mango flavored rum. So what does the alcohol do to Paczki? When you fry your Paczki in hot oil, the alcohol prevents the oil from getting inside the dough, so you don't have oily Paczkis. And one more thing I want to mention is not everybody does it. I do it. I also put 1 tablespoon of plain yogurt into my Paczkis. I feel like because of the plain yogurt, they do last a little bit longer. And of course, big pot with oil, and I will show you which kind I use. So first thing I do is have my milk warmed up. And like I mentioned before, I have 2 teaspoons of sugar put into that milk because sugar helps the yeast to get active. So it needs a little sweetness there. And this will take few minutes before it's ready, so I can put it aside. And now for the other ingredients. I have 1 teaspoon of salt in my flour, my sugar, the egg yolks, and as I mentioned, I like to put 1 tablespoon of plain yogurt into it. And my yeast is ready, nice and foamy. Now it's time to put it all together. And my butter is really soft, and that's important because I want the butter to incorporate with all the ingredients really nicely, evenly. And now on the end, I will put my shot of the mango rum. That's the important part. So I'll mix it with a spolta for a few minutes and then I will finish it with my hands. There might be a slight difference when you're using a different flour. They're not created equal, believe me. I had bought organic flour once and I didn't use it before, so first time ever, a brand I didn't know, and it went into garbage. I never expected organic flour to be that bad. It was kind of like playing with Play-Doh. So I will mix it until there is nothing that stands out and smooth and I don't see pieces of any ingredients. Probably like 6 minutes or so. And the dough is sticky, yes. If you have a KitchenAid or any mixer, you can mix all the ingredients and it will work fine. I like to feel it with my hands. And I always have extra flour on the side for anything I do for dusting. You never know when you need it. I can already see the dough is changing. Donuts are best the first day when they're so fresh. Second day, they still okay. Third day, you will probably need to warm them up in the microwave for like maybe 6 seconds or so because they will dry out and they won't be as tasty. Best the first day, fresh. They are heaven in your mouth. So my dough is done. As you can see, it is nice and smooth and still sticky. So what I need to do now is put just a tiny bit of flour on top. And I like to cover it with a piece of foil first, and then another one on top. The important part here is not to get that dough dry. Depending on where you live and how it is in your house, warm or not, it might take anywhere from an hour to hour and a half. It's been an hour. I live in Florida, so it's hot. For me, it might be a little bit faster than for you guys, but it did double in size. Now, I'll sprinkle some flour on my board and take my dough out. Nice and fluffy and very airy. And I need to get the air to escape before I start making my paczkis. And you can see the air. A nice big bubble. So paczki doesn't have too much sugar in that dough, because when you fry a dough that has too much sugar, it's gonna burn. That's why we have sweet stuff going inside the dough and then powdered sugar on both sides on top. And that's enough to make it sweet. I like to use scale to measure my donuts, so they're about the same size. And usually it is about 75 grams for one. Some ladies who do make paczkis like to just roll the dough out and use a glass to cut round shapes. My way is just rolling them in my hands and putting them on a cookie sheet. And one thing I want to mention too is when I have a cookie sheet, I do not put my paczki dough on that side. I actually turn it upside down and put it on this side, the other way around. Because once they grow, it is very easy to pick them up from here when you don't have any edges on the end. And believe me, paczkis dough is so delicate. If you do it the wrong way, the dough will collapse and then you will have to throw it in the garbage. So that's just a little detail I learned making them, and whatever I remember that's going to be easier for you guys, I want to mention to you. I do want to scrap any dough that was sticking to my board because it will get dry, and once I roll my dough in it, it will have those dry pieces, and I don't want that. So my scale comes in 75. Woo! First time, first try. I gotta buy a lottery ticket today. I will move the camera away so you can see better. But usually I make rounds like this, and then the bottom in flour, in some flour, and put it on my cookie sheet. And then some people like to put the filling that goes inside right now, and I don't, because when you fry those donuts, chances are that your filling from the inside will go into the oil. And if it goes into the oil, you will have oil going all over the place. And it's dangerous, you know, it can go in your eye. So for me, I feel safer and better when I actually put my gems, caramel, whatever I want to put inside after my donuts are baked and not before. And I can see the dough growing in front of my eyes. It's like so fluffy. So I have one tray ready, and I like to put a cookie sheet on it because it doesn't stick as much. And I'm ready for another tray. And again, upside down. Make sure there is no spot that can open for you. So why do I put the flour on the bottom? So it doesn't stick too much to my tray. From that 500 grams of flour, and making my donuts about 75 grams, I have about 14 donuts. So again, cover and let it double in size. It should take about half an hour. Unless you have a cold house, it will take a little bit longer. And my donuts tripled in size. Big and fluffy, ready to fry. What I need for my donuts is a tray, and this is wonderful to have. As you take your donuts out, that will be a great thing for the oil to drop down. And a paper towel on top of that, and a little bit longer tweezers. And very good useful tool is a scraper. That's how I take my donuts from the tray and then lower them into the oil. Very helpful tool, thermometer. So I have it in my oil, and I want to keep the temperature about 175. I think we can start frying them. So this tool, again, like I said, I love. It helps me to pick them up. This dough is so delicate. If you try to pick it up with your hands, Paczki will have a fingerprint all over, and it will lose its shape. So you have to be very, very gentle picking it up. And now I will set a timer for 3 minutes. This is usually how long it takes for a donut to be ready. It has been 3 minutes. Yep, those are ready to be turned to the other side. Again, timer, 3 minutes. And I just caught myself on one mistake. 175 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I apologize, it's 350 degrees to fry the Paczkis. Okay, another 3 minutes, I can take them out. And the color is right. This beautiful ring. So another batch goes in, and the important thing that I want to mention is when you pick up the dough for Paczkis, put it upside down in the oil. So the flat part has some time to grow and puff up a little bit. If you do it the other way, your Paczki will be more on the flat side. So pick it up and then upside down. So the flat is on the top. And I will do few of them the other way around, so you can later see the difference. Okay, upside down. I like to cover them when I first throw them in, so they puff up a little bit more, and then when it's time to turn them over, I don't need to do that anymore. And it has been 3 minutes, so now the other side. And you can see how from flat they puffed up and now they have more round shape. Beautiful. I don't even see much of my fingerprints on them. And those are ready to take them out. And this beautiful ring. And new batch goes in. So I like to dip my fingers in flour, put some on my tool here, and again, upside down. So that way the flat part will have time to rise up again. So lift gently and then upside down. I will make one batch doing the opposite way. I just want to show you the difference. I will use the flat ones to play with them and show you different ways how to put the jam in or whatever you choose to put inside of them, and how to put icing and decorate them different ways. Another batch going in. And a smaller one for my daughter. She calls them babies. Baby ponczek. You will notice as they fry here that the ones that I put the right way will be more round. Paczkis will be more flat for you if you do it that way. So that's one tip, that it seems like it's such a small detail, but you know, the shape of the donuts depends on it. And here are all of my paczkis. Well, this is one tray. I have 2 other trays. But I took those 2 paczkis that were put in oil, flat part down first. And you can see they don't have this beautiful ring and they are more on the flatter side, both of them. And here are the rest of them that were put upside down, and they do look quite different. More round, more puffy, fluffy, and they have this beautiful ring on them. Here is another one that was put in flat part going down in oil first, and here another one. You can see it has a little ring, but not as nice as the ones that were put in oil upside down, meaning flat part on the top. And it's actually easier to do it that way. Lift your dough up and put it upside down versus the other way around. So here you have it. The looks, that's the difference, but also when you eat the pączek, the fluffiness makes taste better. So now time to decorate them. And I will use the flat ones mostly to play with them, to show you different ways of putting the filling in and decorating them with icing. And I've got some leftover chocolate from Easter. So what I want to do is melt it with some butter and half and half. On slow, very slow, mixing it until the consistency is right. And that would be a topping for a donut. The other topping I want to do is icing. And icing is just powdered sugar and some hot water. You just mix it until the right consistency. Usually it's like 2 cups of powdered sugar to 2 tablespoons of hot water. And now the fun part. You can use a syringe for putting anything inside. But I choose to just have a nice sharp knife, the softest part, make an incision, press on both sides, and just put my jam in. Here. With this, I know exactly how much I put inside. So every donut has 1 teaspoon of whatever flavor jam I want. 1 spoon in there. So second one gone. So powdered sugar or icing will go on top. So whatever imperfections you have, don't worry about it. It won't show. You choose how you want to do it. Which way works best for you. But I have small hands, small fingers, just very easy to put in. I always choose the softest side, and usually it's the white part, because this is where you will have the easiest time to open up your donut. Here we go. Nice and clean. Okay, and my raspberry jam goes in. Okay, and now the powdered sugar. The easiest part is to put the powdered sugar on those donuts on both sides. And I will put some apples. And here I have 2 cups of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. And I need to mix it really well so it's really smooth, because once I put it in either a Ziploc or a special sleeve, I want it to flow. It needs to be on a thicker side, but with a nice flow. And this is how you know it is ready for you. Okay, now I need to grab my sleeve. And all of my different fillings, so I have 3 fillings inside, apples, plum, and raspberry. And I want to put a different design so I know which one is which. This one is with the plum. I am going to just go across like this. And that will be my first one. And on the end, a little bit of powdered sugar, and my donut is ready. Okay, again, plum, go across, powdered sugar, and with these apples, I will also do a crossover like this, but those will also have a drizzle of chocolate on top. And my chocolate was just melted with some butter and half on slow. And the third option, go in a circle. And some powdered sugar on all of it. On top, you can put some of that raspberry jam and you will have a nice, beautiful flower. My chocolate is melted, and now I'm gonna go do the same thing, but with chocolate. So now I have two different colors in here. Beautiful. If you want the chocolate to be more visible, you can first do the powdered sugar, and then the chocolate can go on the end. Yum, yum. It's a guilty pleasure, but the donuts, fresh donuts, are like heaven in mouth.